Hello and welcome back to another week of Reintegration 30,000. My name is Stella Inameti, and this package promises to be enlightening, informative, and of course, I hope we succeed in entertaining you somewhat. The Presidential Amnesty Program is dedicated to ensure that the current phase of reintegrating former armed agitators from the Niger Delta back into civil life is carried out with the utmost care and intent to achieve success. There is absolutely no doubt that the Amnesty Program has already made huge gains in this direction. But it is imperative to sustain the tempo while stepping up the pace in ensuring that already trained delegates of the program are enabled to begin new lives. Speaking about change, let's quickly move things along by bringing you our segment, A Changed Story. On A Changed Story this week, we visited the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, in Kaduna State, where some delegates of the Presidential Amnesty Program are being trained as air traffic controllers. Our focus was not just on the standard of training or the duration and facilities at the college, but more on the stories of delegates whose lives have turned around for the better, courtesy of the Presidential Amnesty Program.
My name is Emema Alfonso Supo. I'm from Akwa Ibom State, a delegate of the Presidential Amnesty Program, by virtue being selected from the violence community.
My name's Emmanuel Ebupamwe Ajiloba from a village known as Aduku from Bayelsa State, Sagbama local government to be precise. I became a delegate from the states affected by the violence in the Niger Delta.
When it comes to aviation and air traffic control in aviation, I know it's a sector where we contribute so much in saving lives. So even my past school, it was a health school. So I've always been dedicated to being in any sector which we can save life. So that's why when I left there, I had to join Presidential Amnesty Program. And I chose aviation because it's a high esteemed sector.
Aviation is very lucrative, and it is a highly professional course, and it is a highly skilled course. I thought about it and I was like, wow, this is something that I can do, and this will actually give me a career advancement if I have a change in career, because what I was actually doing was not yielding forth. I thought about it and I did some research and I was like, wow, the air traffic control is an industry that does not have much capacity, lacks capacity in Nigeria. So I thought about it and I said, well, this is actually a good avenue for me to, for me to key in.
I got to the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, last year, August. And it was quite stressful. The exams, we had theory exams, we had medicals and oral, and it was quite challenging. Though we were much that came for the exams, but after the whole screening exercises, so I was lucky to be picked among the people that have been offered admission here.
I was marveled when I came in. Their facilities are wonderful. Their instructors are lovely. They have good facilities. They took us around on tour, and everything about MCAT is really, really beautiful.
Air traffic control We prevent collisions within aircrafts and collisions between aircrafts and obstacles. We provide separation for aircrafts flying en route and departure and arrival aircrafts in all the aerodromes in Nigeria. When I mean aerodrome, I mean airports in Nigeria.
The course content is actually of standard. It's of ICAO standard, and everything that you need to know as an air traffic controller is embedded in the course content. From the beginning of the program, we were introduced to the private pilot license course. We had series of rigorous training from that PPL level up to aerodrome, and now presently we are in the approach stage, where we include practicals plus hands-on practicals, in-depth analysis and training on theory, and of course our instructors are highly trained.
The role of the work of an air traffic controller is very important because we provide advice to pilots. We provide them with departure clearance. Without an air traffic control clearance, no aircraft can take off or land in any airports. And we provide separations, guiding them from collision between themselves in the air till they get to their destinations.
I had the opportunity to go for an on-the-job training in Kano State. That is Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, back in Kano State. Some of us went to Abuja. We were trained in Abuja Aerodrome, and some of us were trained in Malam Aminu Kano International Airport back in Kano.
I see myself succeeding and successfully graduating, and I see myself as an air traffic controller in future.
I thank God for the amnesty program because they have fine-tuned me and they have set me on the right path. So I see myself in the next couple of years gaining experience in the aviation industry and becoming an aviation consultant.
Most of us didn't have a job, we're not schooling, but by God's grace, we've been able to have a formal education here, and we will also have a career after here.
It is obvious that when change is positive, it gives direction for growth and advancement. Under the Presidential Amnesty Program, delegates are positioned to embrace positive values and ideals that challenge their sensibilities and zeal to better their lives. The program has created platforms for delegates to explore and has over the years succeeded in reeling out delegates who have not only successfully completed trainings in specialized areas of vocations, but are splendid in their chosen professions. This week on our segment Insight, we will give you a summary of some areas of training under the Presidential Amnesty Program and how delegates are thriving. Agriculture. One area that has remained of utmost importance to the Presidential Amnesty Office is agriculture. This is in line with the Presidential Initiative on exploring available potentials in the sector to grow the national economy. The Amnesty Office is therefore vigorously pursuing partnerships with relevant agro-allied groups to, among other things, encourage the youth of the Niger Delta to embrace commercial agriculture. Some of the key partners include the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and the National Biotechnology Development Center. Delegates have been empowered by the office to begin fishery, poultry, and crop farming, while thousands of delegates yet to be trained are now being deployed into agriculture. Automobile manufacturing technology. The training in automobile technology is part of an Education for Employment initiative conceived by the Presidential Amnesty Office and some of its key partners for the youth of the Niger Delta. The training is particularly critical considering current efforts by the federal government to transfer and develop local expertise in car manufacturing, maintenance, and repairs. Aviation. This is perhaps one of the most celebrated vocational training under the program. The aviation training is carefully structured and meticulously followed through to close existing manpower gaps in Nigeria's aviation sector. It has successfully rolled out a plethora of qualified experts in specialized areas with the requisite credentials and the technical knowledge to compete with their counterparts in other parts of the world. Some of the trained commercial pilots have completed advanced type rating courses in international recognized aviation institutes and are currently employed as pilot instructors, first flight officers, and aircraft maintenance engineers in Nigeria and overseas. Catering and hospitality. Developing culinary skills might appear seemingly simple, but experts in this field are often quick to point out that providing maximum satisfaction is not an easy task. Learning this art and perfecting in the hospitality business has become an integral part of an evolving society like ours, thus informing the involvement of the Presidential Amnesty Office in this sector. Dozens of successfully trained delegates in this area are either managing their own businesses or working in the hospitality sector as sous chefs and hoteliers. Construction. Nigeria, with its rapidly expanding cities, is a melting point for builders and experts in construction engineering. For a long time, foreign companies and expatriates held sway in the sector, but for the introduction of laws as the local content legislation that opened the door for the active participation of indigenous actors. The Presidential Amnesty Program took the initiative to train its delegates in construction in order to provide specialized services where needed. Education. With a population estimated at 25 million people, the Niger Delta region is primed to benefit from a growing population of college-educated young people. The Presidential Amnesty Program realizes the imperatives for a knowledge-driven society and has since 2009 given full education scholarships to thousands of youth from the region. Most of these beneficiaries have excelled in their chosen areas of studies, with many clinching first and second-class upper honors in disciplines such as medicine, forensic sciences, international diplomacy, and law. Marine technology. The Niger Delta is an environment with substantial marine, naval, and seaport infrastructure. This reality compelled the training of Niger Delta indigenes in the maritime field to address the issues through development of its native sons and daughters. Also, there was a need for the Niger Delta youths to fulfill and compete for these high-paying jobs in the maritime industry, which are currently going unfulfilled due to lack of adequately trained workforce. The Presidential Amnesty Office embraced the task to train and empower young men and women from the region in relevant areas like maritime seamanship, underwater welding, and diving. Delegates trained in this field were exposed to extensive training in navigating, maintaining, and operating a vessel. The core training under a maritime consulting firm, First Adasa Group Limited, is IMO compliant and approved by the United States Coast Guard, as well as other IMO whitelist countries meeting the requirements of the maritime community for STCW 95, SOLAS, ISM code, and other related concerns. You're still watching Reintegration 30,000, and our next segment is Talking Point. Our guest on this episode is the Public Relations Officer of the Popular Ijaw Youth Council, Abuja chapter, Comrade Joyce Ikirika. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Stella.
Give me your impression of the Presidential Amnesty Program and how it has impacted, especially among the women folk in the Niger Delta.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the special advisor on how he has taken, especially the IYC Abuja chapter along. I want to say a very big thank you because he has actually been doing well, and I want to say he should do more, and we congratulate him for all his good works. He always go around speaking peace, preaching peace to the people of the region, and especially I will always talk of my experience with him when we visited him for a courtesy visit. What he told us was that this is what he has been doing, and he will continue to do it by speaking peace. That we should make our environments an enabling ground for investors to come in and develop the place. And I believe he has been doing well. He has been talking to the youth, he has been talking to different groups of people, elders and all that in the Niger Delta. I think he has actually done well in that aspect. Pertaining the women, I would like to say the Presidential Amnesty Program has actually impacted the women folks in the Niger Delta in helping them with skills and all that. I know of women that have gone for a lot of trainings all across the globe, and I think they are doing well. But what we want to say in this is for them to actually do more. We actually appreciate them for all that they've been doing for the women. I am basically speaking because I am a woman, and the last time we visited the special advisor, we actually advised him to do more for the women, of which he has assured me as a person that is going to do more for the women. And I believe that when women are more trained in this program, the Niger Delta itself will come to have some kind of peace, because the women will actually go ahead to tell the men out there, this is what is happening. If we actually bring ourselves and embrace peace, more, I believe, will be done to the Niger Delta region. Thank you.
The federal government is currently implementing a Niger Delta development blueprint. In your opinion, beyond the amnesty program, what else could be done to succeed in the overall plan for the Niger Delta?
My take is political will. The region has actually impacted so much in the nation, and I believe that if we have good leaders that would like to develop the place and make the peace to stay in the Niger Delta, make the people to be comfortable where they are, I believe we'll go far. So my take is political will. Let the politicians know that these people from this region has actually done well by supporting this nation in all ramifications. And so if there is political will to do more for the Niger Delta region, I believe peace will come to stay, and there will be development. Thank you.
Lastly, and before you go, where do you see the Niger Delta getting to in the near future, all things being equal?
Well, Niger Delta for me is actually a blessed region, and if our leaders are not selfish, if our leaders are willing to carry the youths along, if our leaders are ready to develop the place, then I believe the Niger Delta will actually be a place for envy. That's my take. Thank you.
Comrade Joyce Ekrika has been speaking on issues of development in the Niger Delta, and quite profoundly too. We hope you will oblige us if and when next we offer an invitation to be on the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Comrade Joyce Ekrika is the Public Relations Officer of the Abuja chapter of the Popular Ijaw Youth Council, IYC, and a gender activist. Time now for our segment PAP in Recap. Presidential Amnesty Program boss, Brigadier General Paul Boro, has described the Niger Delta as a region currently primed to lead Nigeria into a phase of economic and social renaissance. General Boro made the statement before the House Committee on Niger Delta during the budget defense exercise for the Presidential Amnesty Program. Justifying the proposed budget estimate of 65 billion naira earmarked for the Amnesty Office for the 2018 fiscal year, General Boro explained that years of implementation, boosted by the unrelenting political will of the federal government, has positioned the Niger Delta on the crest and poised to lead Nigeria to greatness. He outlined several policy actions and programs designed to consolidate the reintegration of former armed agitators back into civil life and confirmed that the program is on course, with thousands of beneficiaries making new starts in life.
About 350 beneficiaries of the program have been placed in various ministries within the country.
In the meantime, General Boro has called on the people of the Niger Delta to show more support for the Buhari presidency based on tangible positive evidences emerging of growth in the region. He explained that President Buhari has continued to demonstrate enormous goodwill and commitment to the development of the Niger Delta, outlining the consistent release of funds for the Amnesty Program and other projects in the region. General Boro said these efforts have culminated in successes recorded by delegates in various trainings in skills and educational pursuits. He thanked the President for prompt release of funds budgeted for training and empowerment programs, which have all helped to sustain peace and stability in the Niger Delta. General Boro said the result from all of government's investment in the region is worth the cost invested. He therefore enjoined the people to rally round the federal government and to continue to support government's policies for the development of the Niger Delta. This is how we conclude today's episode of the program. We did promise at the beginning to make this episode quite informative, and I know we have succeeded in doing that. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation on this program by making your contributions on our various social media platforms. We look forward to hearing from you. Do you remember to also keep a date with us next week, same time, same station? I am Stella Inameti, and remember this: Amnesty works.